Fire Rock is the first disk system released by Use Corporation. If you're not familiar with Use, well, there's a good reason for that. They didn't publish very many games, and most of them are notoriously bad. But the developer of Fire Rock is System Sacom, a company that we've already seen on the Disk System because they were part of Square's Disk Original group. In fact, they still have one more release to go under that label. I'll get to that in a couple of days. Sacom was primarily a computer game developer, and they used the Disk System as a way to dip their toe into the console market. As soon as you start up Fire Rock, you're confronted by this screen. And you might be asking yourself, who is Mark Flint? Well, Mark Flint was one of their in-house programmers. And although the name might make you think that he came from overseas, he is Japanese. Sacom was trying to turn him into their star programmer. They even released a collection of games that he ported under the title All About Mark Flint. From what I can tell, these efforts never really paid off. Flint never became the celebrity programmer, game designer, or whatever they were trying for. And in fact, it's left people kind of bewildered why System Sacom was pushing him so hard. Is Mark Flint a pseudonym? A name that Sacom came up with to promote their games as somewhat exotic? Nobody seems to know. Fire Rock became the only console game promoted with Mark Flint's name. The plot involves a meteor striking the Earth, and then volcanic eruptions occurring everywhere. And as a nameless hero, you have to descend into those volcanoes and destroy the aliens before they destroy the world. And to do that, you have to get through 6 stages, which consist of vertically scrolling shafts linked by doors, and you have to collect 4 symbols on every stage, defeat 4 bosses, and then reach the exit door. In this game, B attacks and A jumps, and here's where I have to talk about the movement. Moving around in Fire Rock is nightmarish. You have enormous momentum, and you bounce around everywhere. You can't jump when you're in the air, and you'll be in the air accidentally if you ever do something like hit a small bump, or hit the attack button, because every time you attack you do a little hop. Every surface in Fire Rock might as well be ice. Moving with any kind of precision is nearly impossible, and the stage design requires a great deal of precision. I couldn't make it past the 2nd stage just due to how tough it was to control. Coming into contact with anything will send you flying, and the game often bottlenecks you so that you have to go through an area packed with attacks, or it funnels you into lava pits that will launch you into other damage sources. It makes Fire Rock completely frustrating to play. Now there is one interesting thing about the movement in Fire Rock. You can cling to walls and ascend them by mashing the A button. You can't jump off of walls, you just release and start to fall. So really this is used to reach ledges that are directly above you. But even this wall climbing doesn't feel great. You're just shoving your face into a wall, mashing the A button and hoping that you'll eventually move up. All of the movement in Fire Rock just makes the game feel awful to play. Naturally, there are power-ups to collect on every stage. The blue pots restore 1 point of health. You start out with 5 and there's a maximum of 99. You can see your current health by pressing the start button, and it's the number on the left. Collecting the heart gives you a shield that will take damage before your health, though it goes away if you ever touch lava. You can also collect multiple hearts, and the strength of that shield is the number on the right when you pause the game. Meat is probably the most important item for you to collect. Getting it will increase your jump height, and you're going to have to collect almost all of the meat on a stage in order to collect all of the items. It's not enough to jump up and touch an item to collect it. You have to jump high enough that the item is below your waist in order to collect it. After you finish a stage, your jump power is reset to the base level, so collecting meat is one of your major priorities. The torches increase your firepower, and your attacks are one of the few bright spots in this game. You can attack diagonally and up, and your shots have a little arc to them. As you get more torches, you get the ability to throw more torches. And if you collect 8 torches, then you get the Fire Rock, and that makes your attacks a lot more powerful. I did notice that sometimes my ability to attack just paused suddenly. It wasn't due to there being too many attacks on screen, I just mysteriously lost the ability to shoot for a couple of seconds. There is a continuous stream of enemies that spawn in as you explore, but these are taken out in one hit. The real danger are the bosses. And all of the bosses, even the ones that are a giant swarm of regular enemies, are only vulnerable at one point. So you'll have to spend a lot of time shooting and trying to figure out where you can hit them. There's a rather rapid progression in how much health each boss has, so you only need to hit the first boss about 5 times, but by the end of stage 2 you have to hit a boss 20 times, and it goes up from there. Since the only real strategy in the boss fights is to find the safe space where you can hit the boss's vulnerable point from, adding more health just makes them more boring. There's 4 more items that you can collect, and these are the ones that are used to escape the stage. These items have names: Vicious, Regia, Zarok, Aegis. Those names only appear in the manual though and don't really matter. This is just one of those games where they try to give it a lot of lore. If you're having trouble with the game, there is a cheat code that will make you invincible. Hold down the A and B buttons, then turn the system on. Keep holding down A and B as you flip the disc, get to the title screen, and then wait for the title screen to cycle 15 times. On the 15th time, the text will turn white, and that's when you start the game. And after that, you're invulnerable, though you'll still bounce around when you run into things. Obviously, I didn't have a lot of fun with Fire Rock, and so I was really surprised when I found that it's considered to be a bit of a hidden gem in Japan. The big point seemed to be that people really liked climbing walls and the music. But as I mentioned, I hated playing this. The control scheme is just too much of a mess, and the boss fights that are central to the game all become situations where you're just looking for the right spot to stand, and then pound the damage sponge until it falls over. Fire Rock is an incredibly frustrating game to play, and if you make it over that hurdle, there isn't a reward waiting for you on the other side.